Professor of Law at the University of California. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Shall we start first with the legal part? Just explain to us what role the Attorney General of the United States plays in helping the daily functioning of the government.
Well, the Department of Justice is led by the Attorney General, and the Department of Justice, the Attorney General, essentially represent the United States in all forms of litigation in U.S. courts. And so for the Attorney General to say that she would not defend the executive order was really quite something. It was quite a shock, I think, and basically said to the White House that the department would not, that the Department of Justice would not defend the executive order.
I suppose Sally Yates's rank is really the thing that sets her apart from all those others who disagree with this executive order, because there are plenty of state attorney generals, are there not, who are also considering. In fact, Washington has become the first state to go to court against this executive order. Are we heading towards some sort of long-running constitutional crisis over this executive order?
I don't know if we're at a constitutional crisis or if we're heading in that direction. It depends on a number of issues. I think it's important to recognize that it's completely normal for state attorneys general, for the states to intervene with the government on issues where they feel that they're being harmed by particular federal policy, and this might be one of those situations. I think the thing to watch for really is when the courts begin to challenge the executive order in legal terms, so not in political terms, but in legal terms, we need to watch how the administration responds. If the administration simply allows that court process to proceed and doesn't challenge the courts, then we're not going to see a constitutional crisis, I don't think. But that's not necessarily the direction that things are heading. And I think there's a very real risk of uncertainty that the administration will, in fact, follow the court orders. We've seen already this happening at the airports over the weekend.
David, do you know of significant instances in American history where executive orders have been challenged to the extent that they've either had to be retracted or modified?
Well, we have seen this. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that President George W. Bush adopted his military commissions order. It was by executive order in 2001, and it immediately set off litigation in U.S. courts, quite a number of challenges related to the holding of individuals at Guantanamo Bay by the Navy, and it took many years for those issues to be resolved. I mean, it's conceivable that we could see years of litigation following from these executive orders.
Okay, so let's talk about freedom of expression now, because there exists in the United States an official dissent channel. So that's a medium through which state employees can express opinions which go contrary to the government. Is that correct? Let's just clear up what that channel is.
Right. So this is something that's very specific to the State Department. So the State Department allows something called a dissent channel, and that simply allows anybody within the State Department, any employee, to register their dissent if there's a policy that's adopted with which they disagree. Now, it can't just be any policy. If the person had another way in which to register that dissent, one wouldn't use the dissent channel. It functions in a way as a kind of whistleblower protection mechanism. So it allows individuals to air their dissent, to raise problems that they see in policy that's been adopted. And at the same time, like whistleblower protection, it protects them against any form of retaliation. Unfortunately, what we saw today was the press secretary at the White House essentially saying to those who might dissent or join this dissent memo that seems to be circulating at the State Department, he basically said to them, well, if you don't like the policy, you can resign. And that's just not the way the civil service works in the United States or in any other country where there's functioning rule of law.
Excellent. You brought up the point I was going to make about those diplomats and State Department employees using the dissent channel. Is there any way that their identities could be revealed to anyone wanting to find out? It's supposed to be anonymous, isn't it?
It is supposed to be anonymous. Well, it's at least supposed to be protected. So within the State Department, it's possible that somebody would sign, and they would be known to the senior officials. In that kind of situation, they are protected. They should be protected against any form of retaliation. They should also be protected against the public disclosure of their names. I think there's a very real risk and a kind of deterrence and intimidation that might be going on in Washington right now. Clearly, the firing of Sally Yates was a message to others as well, that you must fall into line. And if this is what happens when we see dissent within the State Department, I'd be very concerned about the broader civil service and its integrity in the United States.
David, we really appreciate your spending time with us to pick through those issues. Thanks very much.